What it do, what it did, what it does. I'm Lil Lo, and I want to wish you a happy Galentine's Day, but I am not alone. I am joined by Cindy Noir, who was gracious enough to let me on her show. So
Hey, yo, we had to do a cute little switcheroo. We had to go ahead and switch it up for the people. But I'm
we
so
love to
thankful to
see.
be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I have you like celebrated Galentine's Day formally, or do you feel like it's like a new thing?
I think it is a new thing. However, my first time celebrating it was in 2021 with my line sister. She and I went to Houston and had a cute little Galentine's weekend and had a ball. And quite frankly, I feel like my Galentine's experience kind of changed how I looked at Valentine's Day ever since. I haven't seen it the same in a good way, in a good way.
Oh, okay.
But it's definitely revolutionized how I look at Valentine's Day for sure. We'll get into that later, but yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I knew about the concept, like, of Galentine's Day
Mhm.
because I watched Parks and Recs. I think that's very apparent in my personality. But I definitely watched Parks and Recs, and they were like, "It's the best day of the year." And so when I got a little bit older, we started doing, like, trips, like, we had gone to the Poconos, we had done something in, like, Rhode Island, that type of thing, like, me and just, like, a couple of friends from college and my best friend who's also my cousin. And then that sort of, like, died down, everybody moves far. And so I
Mhm.
was like, I'm sick of this. I'm the only person who has to come from, like, West Bumfuck for this thing. And so I either. And so I throw them. I'm also just, like, the event thrower of my group. You can tell I'm very festive. People are like, "Why do you have that outfit on?" I've been wearing this all.
It's so cute. You look adorable. I love it.
Thank you. At least no, I didn't just wear it for this. I've had this on all day, all day. Like,
Wait till you see my Valentine's outfit on Friday. I have a
I
whole
cannot.
heart tutu, like, trust.
I
I
had to, like,
love
find a
Valentine's.
Valentine's sweater that was, like, the same. I'm going to the hockey game again, and I had to find a Valentine's sweater in the colors of the team.
We love someone who's committed, okay?
Oh, because I was gonna say have to is a stretch. Did I do it? Yes. Did I make my line sister who's going with me do it? Also, yes, you know what I mean? So, like, in talking about this sort of Galentine's thing, I know a lot of times now we just, like, drink and wear pajamas, but
Mhm,
there is, like, a really deep meaning to Galentine's, and I just feel like it does not. Friendships amongst women are not appreciated enough,
mhm.
despite the fact that they're, like, the backbone of our communities, you know what I mean? And so a question for you, and I'll answer as well, is when you hear the word sisterhood, what comes to mind for you?
It's funny, I really didn't understand sisterhood until, ironically, I became a part of a sorority, and I now have 15 other sisters who have really taught me what sisterhood means, and for me, if I had to describe sisterhood, I would say that it is the foundation of community for me. It is foundational. It is the start. It's the starting point. I don't think that it is possible for me to have community without sisterhood, without the ability to look at my fellow women around me as sisters and to see sisterhood in them. I would also say that to me, sisterhood is a reflection in the sense that I wanna surround myself with women where when I look at them, I see parts of me in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But, who you are who you are around, and I think that part of sisterhood is who you are sisterhood with, and if I look at who I'm sisterhood with and I see different elements of not just who I am, but who I aspire to be, sisterhood's in the room with me. I just feel like
Yeah.
those 2 components to me are really important. The women that I have surrounded myself with inspire me in so many ways, but then I also see myself in different aspects of them too. So it's a balance between being around women who feel like home, but who will also keep you at a certain level of healthy discomfort to elevate different parts of who you are too. That's what I see when I hear sisterhood.
Yes, like, I love that, and even thinking about that, like, I'm not gonna go too deep into my definition of sisterhood because I'm the, like, real friendship one. I feel like that, so I don't wanna do that. But I think in addition to everything that you just said, also being a part of a sorority, and I'm the oldest of 5, so
Mhm.
I was super sister before, um, but I also think of, like, everything emotional you just said, and also sometimes, like, I'm just not gonna pay you any mind.
Mhm.
Like, "You're doing that shit again, girl. we sisters, whatever.
Mhm.
And, like, that's I'm like, that's like me being a sister to my brother as well. It's just, like, accepting folks for who they are.
Yeah.
You know, if you see something that could be changed for the better within yourself and the way that you are a sister, do something about it, but also being able to say something to the people you are a sister to and
Mhm.
hope that they know that it, like, comes from a place of love. Because I literally told one of my line sisters today, I'm like, "I stopped paying y'all mind when we got matching tattoos. I don't care what y'all do. Y'all
Mhm.
stuck with me.
Mhm.
So, let's just avoid getting into anything we can avoid getting into."
Yeah. That is another part of sisterhood that I had to learn through joining a sorority. I'm an older sister too, but I don't think that I really to me, I didn't become a good sister until I crossed and until I had 15 other sisters. Not saying I was a terrible sister before. I think I was still an okay sister, but I lacked a certain understanding of humanity. I lacked a certain patience and I lacked a certain grace that I have definitely embodied more through being in a sorority and through having 15 other girls to learn and to love and to accept. A huge part of sisterhood to me is accepting people for who they are. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of us women can miss the mark on that because I think we do it from a place that we mean well. We want so much better for the people around us. We want for them to have the best experiences. We want for them to be happy. But part of sisterhood is respecting everyone's journey as it is and respecting the fact that despite what you may want for your sister, they're on a different path, and they're gonna choose what they wanna choose for themselves, and
And
they
that's
know
all
what's
of
best for
us.
them more than you think you do, and that was a humbling experience I had to learn in sisterhood. It is not sisterly to project the life you think they should have onto them. That is actually the opposite of sisterhood. That is you being judgmental and trying to love them through your ego and not making space for who they are actually. And so I found that since I've taken a step back and given people around me, the women around me a space to be themselves, is it always easy? Hell no.
It's almost
Because
never
you love them and you care about them and you want them to go through life with as much ease as possible. But the reality is with pain comes growth. And a lot of us have places we have to grow in that will require some pain that we have to endure. And if you are constantly trying to dodge them from that pain, how are you really being sisterly to them? So I've learned that. But yeah, I just thought about that when you were talking.
No, for sure, and I think that you touched on my next question a little bit in what you were just saying, but, like, do you remember the first woman who, like, really made you feel seen and, like, in the context of, like, having a friendship or a sisterhood that you were like, "Oh,
Yes.
she gets me."
My best friend Bianca, she and I have been best friends since middle school when we met. I can recall the first time I met her to this day. I was just mesmerized. She was so pretty and she was so cool. And we hit it off pretty much instantly. But like the way we get each other is crazy work. It feels so like she feels like a soulmate to me, and it's so funny because on paper, we are complete opposite people, but when we get together, we work so well, and I really did feel seen by her very early on, just the way that she would pick up on things about me and vice versa. The really weird, like, synergy that we would have that was never premeditated or predetermined. It just happens. Like, honey, we definitely feel soulfully connected. And she and I were off and on as friends when we were younger. I think sometimes sisterhood is bigger than you think it is, especially when it happens at a young age, and because of that, we fell off and on for a lot throughout of our adolescence, and we actually went completely no contact for about 7 years, and I reached out to her, in 2023. I reached out to her like, "Girl, I miss you, and I'm sorry for whatever I did. Let's go back over, revisit, let's rekindle this
Yeah.
thing." We rekindled things in 2023, and we have been great ever since, but she gets me in a way that I have yet to experience anybody else has gotten me, and it is the one of the things that I cherish and value and appreciate so much. So, yeah, that's who my person is. I'm curious to know who your person is too.
Yeah, mine is also my best friend, but my best friend is my cousin.
So they're your cousin. I was wondering if it was the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's my cousin, and we're 2 days apart in terms of birth, but
Oh,
we're
wow.
in terms of age. And so, like, we've always gotten each other. And I feel incredibly blessed to have someone like that where it's like, I'm just gonna say this thing, you know what I mean by it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And not having to, like, constantly make sure that you're understood because we have to do so much of that as women. Like, is what I'm saying being received the way that I'm trying to convey it? And I never have to do that with her. And I always, like, tell her, like, "We're a year apart. There had to be a year where you were talking me to death. There had to be a time where I literally could not talk, and
Mhm.
I had no choice but to just listen to you." And I almost think that that's why we work so well now, because we just be like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
girl, whatever." And then a year of me, like, trying to figure out, like, what does this talking thing even mean, you know? And so just, like, always having each other's back and always being able to, like, celebrate our birthdays together. There was times where, I moved from Massachusetts to Virginia, and we weren't always together, but, like, when we came home, our parents made sure that we were always together, and she's, like, still my best friend. So
Mhm.
and there's also times where I'm like, "Girl, I don't know what this is. I
Where
don't."
it feels like best friend is, like, undercutting what it really
Yeah,
is, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We
There's
call
also
them sisters at
have
this
to say,
point. We feel like
"Yeah,
we're
she's
family.
my
We're
best
beyond
friend."
friends. We are family. Like, girl, you ain't going nowhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
We are completely locked in on a whole different level. Yeah, yeah. I feel that.
yeah. It's like yeah, it's so important to, like, who you are too. I'm not gonna go into the bonding real friendship. Uh, but in terms of bonding and real friendship, what do you think that women bring to friendships that is so unique and powerful? Because I don't think our friendships are similar to, like, homeboys. Like, I don't think homegirl like, I think being a homegirl requires so much more of you,
Mhm.
and, like, having a homegirl benefits you so much more than, like, having a
Being
homeboy being a
Yeah,
homeboy.
yeah. I think one of the main things that women bring to friendship is whimsy. We are so damn whimsical as women, like, and when you get a whole bunch of us in one space and we're whimsical in the same way or on the same wavelength,
Mhm.
there's just a certain level of fun that I experience with women that I don't experience to the same. I have fun with my guy friends, but it's not the same kind of fun. It's a fun of likeness. It's a fun that doesn't need to be explained. You just get it. You
Yeah.
know, our jokes can be corny, our jokes can be whatever they are, but we will laugh till we cry because we just have an understanding that hits on a different level. So I would say definitely whimsy is a huge component to women friendships. I also think that womanhood, period, I think just the magicness or the magicalness of being women is something we can't really explain but exists. I think that I find women to be magical, whether it's because we create life, whatever you want to call it, but we feel magical to me and we create. We're the reason why the holiday season is what it is. We're the reasons why birthdays are what they are. We give life to the monotony of life, and having two people who have that kind of ability to create in a friendship just it's such a beautiful space for creativity in a way that I have not really experienced with guy friends. I feel like women, we see life in color, men see life in black and white, and so when you have 2 couple bitches together, we over here like Crayola in this bitch, you know?
Mhm.
So, it's just yeah, it's a kind of magic that happens with women friendships that I don't really see with men with men friendships or with women being friends with men either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like, for women friendships, there is an essence that, like, I could not explain, but my audience is mostly women anyways, of, like, really knowing each other.
Mhm.
Really knowing each other. Like, everybody I'm sure in homeboy groups, like, everybody has a role, but, like, in women friendships, it's very different.
Mhm.
Like, you know who is going to be grounded with you. You know when you have, like, a group, who's going to tell this joke when, like, who's gonna bring what, even if it's just, like, blankets or who always is prepared, who always has Band-Aids in their pocket. Like, there is a true sense of, like, knowing who this person is. And I am also, like, I have a group of homeboys in which I'm, like, almost the only girl, and in their friendships with each other, I can tell that there's not that full-fledged, like, knowing each other. Like,
Mhm.
I know that they know that I know them, and I still don't feel like they know me as well as my homegirls know me. Even homegirls I've made after meeting them. It's
Mhm.
just completely different. And there's also like a different level of honesty
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
because a
Just
lot of
emotional intelligence altogether, I would think.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
men won't even say like that hurt my feelings to each other. So how can you have a full friendship? Like how could you know what hurts your friend's feelings if they don't say my feelings are hurt? So I think that that is like one of the realest, most tangible things is like the honesty that goes on amongst women
yeah.
when we're really close. How do women show care for each other in ways that don't always get recognized?
That's a good question. Wow. I would say that knowing. So, depending on which of my line sisters is going through a hard time, I know they need space, or I need to be there, or they each need a phone call, or they need an actual tangible gift.
Yeah,
There is just a knowing of, I have taken the time to study you in an intimate way to where, not that I know what you need, but I have a pretty good idea of when anything goes left, I'm able to pretty much
yeah,
guarantee that I know how to respond. And if I don't know how to respond, I have the knowing to at least ask in a certain way that you feel seen by. But I think between our knowing and our presence, if there's anyone that has the capacity to sit with somebody in discomfort, I found it's women. If there's anyone, if you're going through a hard time, sometimes that remedy that you need to get through it is just someone being there. And more times than not, I'm thinking about a girlfriend being there than any guy. So I think
yeah,
that our knowing and understanding of emotional needs combined with our ability to be present and provide emotional support, that sometimes is just sitting with that person, no words being said, just literally being a body next to the person going through it, whatever the issue is, or even if it's not an issue. I just think that we have a deep-seated understanding that sometimes all you need is just to be there.
yeah,
And we get that in a way that I don't fully see men get, or I haven't experienced men getting. But whenever there's a celebration, whenever there's a funeral, whatever the case may be, women are the reasons or the ones behind it, making it what it is. Sunday dinner. That wasn't the men in the family creating Sunday dinner. That's me, mom. That is mama. That is auntie in the
for
kitchen. So
sure.
it's just, we have this universal understanding of knowing and presence that is just untouchable to me.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think that women's like it's gonna connect to character. Just let me put it together. Women's ability to be in a friend group,
Mhm.
I think, is very unique. I think that one, we constantly make the choice to be a part of said friend group, whereas I think that a lot of men, they get their friends early on in like elementary, and if they're blessed enough to not have moved around a lot and this, that, and the third, they kind of just stay friends regardless of whether they like each other or not.
Mhm.
And then for them, it becomes about here's my relationship with the four other people in this group and their individual relationships. We may all be together, but they're individual relationships. And I think that when we're talking about that, we need to show up for somebody. Guys will do that. I'm not discrediting, they know my friend's going through something. I'm going over there. But women, not only am I going over there, I'm calling these other people, hey, do you know this is going on with our sister? We need to go over there.
Mhm.
And showing up as a group, like a unit of support, I think is something that just it doesn't get recognized enough. And like this is my relationship with this sister and this is our relationship with this other one. Like
Mm.
yes, we have two individual relationships, but there's also a relationship that we have together where we have like the ability to have different dynamics and make them work really well so that everybody gets the best version of this friendship possible.
Yeah.
I think is something that, like, I
A
don't
cohesiveness, if you will,
yeah,
like, we're able to
yeah,
exist at the same time. I find that for guy friends, there's usually, like, the leader and then the pack. That seems to be the kind of standard dynamic. Women friends, there are some times where there's a leader and then there's the pack, but a lot of times we're able to coexist around strong personalities, around
mhm,
big personalities, and there's not much clashing because we just have a kind of unspoken understanding of when to speak up, when to fall back, when to give someone else space. So, yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, no, and I love that, like, I love being a part of friend groups. I feel like recently people have been like, "I'm done with the friend group shit."
Mhm.
Friend group me. I
Can't
love
relate.
I love groups and I'm a serial friend mixer, so,
Mhm.
like, they also have groups, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just love it. What is something that one of your sisters, whether it be, like, your line sisters or just one of your really good friends, has done for you that you'll never forget?
Okay, that one does come to mind. So we celebrated our 7th anniversary last year. I think it was number 7. Yeah, it was 7. And we did a Secret Santa, or Secret Santa or Secret Elephant style gifting. And how we did it was a sister would go up with their gift, describe the sister they were talking about, and we had to guess who the gift is for, right?
Mm,
So, one of my sisters, my dom, she goes up and she's like, "This sister has really grown as a person. I've been watching her over the years, and I've just really seen how much she's evolved as a person. I really admire her growth and her journey." And she's just going on and on about how much she's been watching and paying attention to the sister and how she's so proud of her. And I'm listening like, "Wow, this is so sweet. This is so great." It was me. I cried. 'Cause
oh my
me and that
god.
sister, in a line, it's 15 of us, so you have some that you're closer to than others, and she and I weren't that close, so I didn't think she was watching like that, and so, for her speech to be so I felt very seen by her in that moment in a way that I didn't think she was seeing me, and not even in a bad way, but just life happens, we all got shit we got going on. You have your sisters you're close to, I have mine, it is what it is, we still love each other when we're in the same room, we still speak, we still get
Yeah,
along, there's no issue. So, it wasn't, like, in a bad way, but it blew my mind that she was seeing me and seeing the hard work I've been putting into myself and was able to see that, and so, I she got me this perfume that I only wear on special occasions because it was such a special gift to me, and it meant so much that in a time that I thought people weren't seeing me,
yeah,
someone that I didn't think was seeing me really did see me, and so something about being seen by her has stuck with me, and now she and I are closer, we talk more often because it was like, "Wow, like, I had no idea," and so
yeah.
that to me has stuck with me ever since in a way that I think I will never forget because it really meant a lot to me to be seen by somebody I didn't think was seeing me in that way. So, yeah, that's what I could think of at the moment, but yeah.
Well, I got a gift card in the fucking Yankee swap, and I was telling everyone who would listen to me, "Please do not bring gift cards to the Yankee swap."
Yes! We had to start no gift cards, yeah.
My line didn't do that. So, I brought a very, like, it's like a overnight bag with a matching cup and socks. So, there's that. No, I think that all all of my sisters, my line sisters, my friends, my cousins, um, I can't think of, like, one specific thing that I'm like, "This'll always stick with me,"
Mhm,
because everything really sticks with me, and because I'm the person who, like, always has events, anytime they show up the day before the event and they're like, "We know something's gotta get set up in here," I appreciate it.
mhm.
Anytime they get me a gift that's really thoughtful or I mention something in passing and next thing I know, I have it. Like, I just don't forget that. I think that the way that they show up for me as someone who is often doing the showing up,
Mhm.
it just
Yeah,
always means a lot to me. Always.
I feel that. Yeah. It
Like,
was hard for me to try to figure out one example because I mean, I feel the same way. It's something about being seen in the way you need to be seen, just in
yeah,
general, however that looks. That just really just, it gets you. So I can see that too. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. So now we get to the dun 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 part, like the part that everybody talks shit about women friendships for, which is like the conflict, the drama. I don't hang out with girls because it's too much drama.
Yes.
You have a problem. I can see it. So, why do you think that women's friendships get labeled as dramatic?
Misogyny, the stereotypical view of women being emotional creatures and lacking logic. I think that's what at the root a lot of it is. But at the same time, I would say between misogyny and reality TV have really given women friendships a bad rap. I think that seeing reality TV, seeing what society portrays women friendship to be, girlfriends, they weren't the healthiest of a friend group. Let's keep it a bean, you know?
Yeah,
But I think how media portrays women friendship more times than not has drama in it.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, there are moments where drama does happen in our friendship dynamics. However, it's normal. It's not abnormally happening in that way,
yeah,
or what how society will want you to think it is. It's healthy, normal conflict, at least when you're aligned with people they're supposed to be friends with. It's normal, healthy
yeah,
conflict. But I think that society does not want women to be in cahoot too much. They
yeah,
don't want for us to really if women really 100% bought into sisterhood, my God,
yeah.
we would be indestructible. We would be, oh my goodness, we would get some shit done, you know? So I think that in an effort to keep us oppressed, in an effort to keep us subordinate, quote unquote, there has to be a narrative that for us to be a community with each other is problematic and it does not fare well and it does not result in anything tangible or worth or of quality of worth having. So I would think, yeah, I think that to pose when friendships as what they actually are, which is revolutionary, is the wrong thing that society actually wants for women. So I think, yeah, that's what I think. I'm curious to know what you think though.
I think that they are dramatic. I think that drama and conflict is a part of any relationship that you
Mhm.
have. I think that the alternative, those friendships that are amongst men that don't have any drama, like they don't have any depth.
Mhm.
There's always going to be something. And I think that even people's relationship with their siblings are dramatic. People's relationship with their parents are dramatic. I think misogyny is why it's labeled as dramatic, but I don't think
Yeah.
that it's not dramatic. But like, who the fuck wants a boring ass relationship? Like that has no depth, that hasn't been through anything. I'm not saying like go through hell with people for no reason. Well, really,
Mhm.
you go through hell, they put you through hell. But I just couldn't imagine what would my friendships look like if nothing ever happened?
Yeah. There's going to be things that go wrong or especially when you have multiple people, multiple different personalities, multiple different worldviews, when you have that in one setting, people are going to clash. I just feel like there is this overemphasis on that aspect of our friendships that just feels that's where the misogyny kicks in. It's like, okay, this happens everywhere. It's not just us. Why are we the ones catching so much flack for it, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, I really do feel like it's being sustained by the pick-me's now.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, "Oh, I'm friends with more men because it's less drama."
Oh,
No,
yeah, I
it's
don't have any girlfriends. It's just too much drama.
you should show up to people's birthday dinner, like, I think you should. If
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, I just other folks never addressing the conflict doesn't mean that the conflict is not there,
It
like
doesn't
I said,
exist. Yeah.
people will men will have long-term friendships with someone they do not like,
Mhm.
and I've, like, called it out in my male friends before and be like, "You don't like him. That's why you have the problems you have." And they're like, "No, I love him. He's just weird."
Well.
And you don't hang out unless the group gets together, and then it's like, "Oh, yeah, the gang's all here."
Mhm.
It's so suspicious. I just don't think it's, like, conducive to anything that's actually healthy.
I
I
think
think
people just have overall a negative view of conflict and don't see the value in it. They don't see the fact that in order to have long-term bonds to anybody, conflict will be there, and it's more so how y'all resolve that conflict that's more important than the conflict itself. But society and in general is more interested in ignoring, avoiding, and pretending the conflict doesn't exist than to see the healthiness in addressing the conflict and moving on. So when you look at it that way too, it kind of makes sense why because we as women, we're more socialized to be emotional, to have outbursts, to be dramatic. So it kind of makes sense as to why we get labeled for it when we are the quote unquote only ones who are allowed to be that way. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
and
that.
I do think that at some point, men resent it. That's why
Oh,
they're
for
like, "There's a
sure.
loneliness crisis."
For sure. Definitely resented. I think that they resent the fact that we are socially allowed to express our emotions in that way, but they also, I think, resent the fact that we are quote unquote allowed to have these conflicts and move through them in ways that they aren't allowed. It's gay for you to call your homeboy out about how you hurt your feelings. That's gay.
Yeah,
So now there's that pressure too that I think is also why we in turn end up being shamed. It's also out of envy. I think
yeah.
that yeah, that too.
And also, like, they then use the women in their life, if they're men who date women, as, like, the vestibule for this emotion,
Mhm.
right? Like the only person you share how you feel with is your partner.
Mhm.
And, like, your friends should also be part of that load. I feel like my next question was how do you know when a friendship has depth, but I feel like we've kind of sort of talked that up. Uh,
Essentially, yeah.
um, do you think that women are encouraged or discouraged from needing each other?
From needing each other, discouraged. Discouraged to a fault. We are not encouraged at all, and I think it has to do with men. So much as I hate that so much of what is about us goes back to men, but it's true because I think far too often we are taught to look at each other as competition
Mm,
than as community, and it really bothers me because I think a lot of the reason why women the pick me's who, I only have guy friends, girls too much drama. Whenever I hear a woman say that, what I hear is, who was the first woman in your life to make you feel like women are competition? More like it was your mother. And so often women are exposed to women friendships through their mother and through women in their families, and they are seeing competition. They're not seeing community. They're seeing women at each other's throats over a man,
yeah.
trying to be the winner. And I think that that competition is what creates this distrust amongst each other of, I can't look to you and find safety in you because you might take my man, or if we get around guys and you're a pick me and you throw me under the bus, I can't trust you. I think that the desire for romantic partnership does have an adverse side effect of it damaging the quality and the beauty of women friendships, because the more desperate you are for a man and for their approval and validation, the more inclined you are to look at women around you as a threat to that. And the more inclined you are to want to separate yourself from them, to be more other, to be different, to look better than, to look like you're more of a catch than they are. And I think that kind of goes into this distrust and messaging that we are not to be sought after in community, which I think is really sad. And that we're missing out in turn.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's, like, discouraged. I know there's, like, a lot of community propaganda, so, like, everybody's being discouraged to be from being separate, but I do think that, like, women particularly are discouraged. I think
Yeah.
that people who mean women harm convince them that women who have their best interest at heart are not interested in them. I think that there's a lot of that pain for some women with their moms who are in
Mhm.
competition with them. There's just, like, an endless sea of things where it's like, "Y'all shouldn't be friends."
Yeah. Yeah.
Even, like, I always say we need to, like, go back to coming to people as a woman. That was, like, a means of safety for women that we have done away with because don't nobody wanna hear shit, and I just think that that's terrible. Like, I can't imagine not having because I have a mom who I have so many aunts because of her village, like, because of her friends. I would view it as alarming if I didn't have that network of women around me.
Mhm.
But I also have to acknowledge that there are people whose moms showed them the opposite, and that it is, like, not second nature to them to, like, hang out with their girls. They don't know what it looks like. Everybody just showed up to somebody's house, and now we all have blankets, and we're talking about nothing, but nobody's, like, ready to go home. They've never seen it,
Mhm.
and that's so disappointing. I just, like I would pity that.
Mhm.
If I had to look at it long term, but thank God my friends are my friend like, me and my friends talk about when we go to this thing, should we walk in a group or a single file line? Like,
I love that.
file line intimidating? Should we start walking side by side? Everybody else to grab a couple of the hoes.
I
Like,
love that.
we don't feel that.
I'm gonna take that just so you know, put that in my back pocket. That is so cute.
We've been trying to, like, practice
That's
walking
so
in a
cute.
group because it just feels so usually someone starts walking this way and then we all go
Mhm.
after her. But we found, like I think that's why we're not getting the hoes. I think we're too busy having fun together. We having a ball, girl. I think we might be spooking people the way we're hollering and drinking.
Feel that so bad. We go out, we have a good time together, okay?
But
Like, yeah, I feel
we're
that. I
supposed to
think
have
that
2 goals here. We've only accomplished 1.
and the other one can wait because we got too much fun to
Exactly.
have for now. Like, yeah, I feel that. I think that anytime I see women who have the capacity to cross another woman in such vile ways,
Mm,
especially over a man, I know that you were not taught nor you were exposed to the beauty of women friendships and community with women. You didn't see it because I have a hard time believing that any woman who has seen it, who has experienced it, could also have the capacity to be that low down with another fellow woman like that, you know? I think that a lot of women, unfortunately, were raised by mothers and around women who saw women as enemies and nothing else, and that all just kinda goes back into misogyny and the patriarchy. I think it just all ties back to that. Men
mhm.
and creating that kind of thing, you know, especially when we talk about, DV or IPV.
Yeah.
A huge component of that is isolation from your community, isolation from women, and trying to get you to understand and believe that the women who are telling you that he's dangerous, he's not good for you, don't have your best interest in mind. You know, I
They
think
just
all
want
of
what you
that.
have.
You said what?
They just want what you have.
Yeah, they're just jealous because they want what we got. All of that is all designed to cause women to question other women in a way we shouldn't be questioning, you know? I
Yeah.
have been the friend to tell a girlfriend, "Girl, you cheating on you," and that girlfriend stayed with the man, and they both came after me for saying anything, because we've been conditioned to look at each other as an enemy before anybody else, and it's unfortunate, it's very sad.
Yeah, and then you lose the bone, and then you're like, "Where are all my friends?"
And you lose your friends too.
You shouldn't have to go through that, which leads
Yeah.
I have something about, friendship, romance, and decentering men. Um, and while we've talked about the type of women who, like, stick with this man, like, because you should want him, like, if I wanted him, why would I call him a bum? You know what I
Okay.
mean? But whatever. How how have if they have, how have your sisters carried you through heartbreak?
They haven't.
Really?
Baby, I have spent the majority of my 20s not dating, and the little bit of dating that I did do, any L that I took, I did take in private.
'Cause when I'm
Not
calling
even
your nigga a
going
bum
well, you
later,
know
I don't
what?
wanna hear it.
I will say this, the last guy I was intimate with, which was 3 years ago, which is crazy to say out loud, it was a situationship. I was taking a massive L. It was just, "Girl, open your eyes," but I was blinded by the tallywhack, Lord, we've all been there. Nonetheless, the friend that was with me at that time, she did help me get through it, but the way she did was patiently listening. She
Mm,
never once really tried to shout out to May, she never really once tried to shame me, judge me, try to force me to conclude things. She just went along with me on the for the ride, and it taught me a really valuable lesson because I'm the friend you got 2 times to tell me about that man being ain't shit, and after that, I don't wanna hear it no more, because I'm projecting my expectation onto you to be able to move on quickly and see the red flags and move on.
mhm.
But between taking that L and being that girl and seeing how much grace she gave me, it taught me that there are women in your life that if you really value that friendship, you have to understand at some point she's going to take an L in dating, and it's not going to happen as fast as you'd want it to. She may not make the choices you want her to make. You can't just cut her off or fall back from her just because she isn't acting in a way that you think you would act if you were in the same situation. And so I found that I have more patience and grace than I used to now. After a while, I'm gonna lay some boundaries. I am. I can't. After a while, I can't just never say nothing. But she did teach me that sometimes in heartbreak, a woman just needs a space to process mentally. She's figuring it out, but she needs someone to process it with that's not going to judge her in the process. And we ain't all got the money for therapists. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
gonna be with friends. But yeah, I don't think I would've been able to conclude that I was playing myself if she were not there with me being a soundboard and giving me that space to kind of process things. So yeah, I will say that that did happen. What
Yeah,
about you?
yeah, for me, I think it was, like, my friends just showing up for me,
Mhm,
like, being like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm straight."
mhm.
But, like, would I have been straight if nobody was checking on me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and them knowing that, like she gonna shake back. She always does, but that doesn't mean that we can just say, "Oh, she's gonna shake back," and not check on her, like, not go over there every so often, not,
Mhm.
answer the phone because she calls more often because she has more free time. And I think that that's one of the things that people don't necessarily realize. However, I was able to do that. I was able to call more often because I was still calling when I was in my relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if people can necessarily cash in on that if they have not put any care or concern into their homegirls the whole time that they was out getting their heart broken.
Hell no, they can't.
Um, I mean, there's something about it where it's like, "Yeah, we should be there for you. Sucks that
But
that
it
happened."
feels more obligatory than it does, genuine care. I think
Yeah,
that we women are socialized to look at women friendships as sometimes as secondary, but even as the support system for your love life. And when you look at it that way, it does not fare well because once you get your love life to a point that you're looking for, those friends have to exist. And you're not holding up your end of the friendship. You're not hitting them up. You're not hanging out with them. You're ditching them for that person. And don't let that person be a man. It's that's
yeah,
10 times worse, you know? And when you spend the entirety of that partnership prioritizing that man over your friends who've been there long before he was even in the picture, when that situation ends and you want to go crawling back to them, good luck. Good luck because you have shown them in your actions more times than not that they only matter when no one else in your life that wouldn't matter to you is around. And I
yeah,
think that I've always said that you really learn who your women friends are when they go from single to taken. That change amongst some girls, you're gonna learn a lot because we speak one language when we're single. And I have seen time and time again where the things we say as single, we do not mean we're taken. And that whole switch flips when you have somebody in your life. And now all of a sudden the girl that would never leave her friends is leaving her friends for that man. And
Ed.
it is really hard to experience when you thought that your girl would be here no matter what. I think that the true test of women friendships is how much you value that women friendship when you have the things in life that society says make a woman a woman.
Yeah,
How much are you prioritizing your women friends when you are a mom, when you are a wife, when you're both, when you're a girlfriend, when you have those titles that society says makes women whole? Where are your friends in that? And so often women stop being friends once they get that part of their life together. And that also to me cheapens the beauty of women friendship too. Not to get on a tangent, but like
yeah,
it
no,
is triggering to me how often women forsake their women friends for a temporary man or even a long-term partner, but still expect the benefits of that friendship when it matters and when it counts. When that man is in the hospital, you want for your friends to pull up, but you have not talked to them in months. How did that work? You know, that's
yeah,
just it's just not fair. And I think there should be a balance. I think that we are conditioned and taught that to be a good partner is to stop living your life. And I just don't agree with that. Like, will things change when you go from being single to partnered? Yes. But I think sometimes too much changes at the deficit of that friend, of that woman and her friendships.
yeah,
You should not be opting out of every single girls' night because your man wanna see you. He can see you tomorrow. Hello? Cancel. Don't even schedule a day on that night because you know that that's our time anyway. You know, things like that of making sure that your life and your community is still prioritized even in the midst of who you're with is what shows your women friends that they still matter to you, which makes them more
yeah.
inclined to show up when it matters for them too. So yeah, not to go off on a tangent, but I really hate that shit.
No, I really think about, like, because I was in a long-term relationship, and when I crossed, I was in a relationship.
Mhm.
We used to worry my nigga to death.
Mhm.
We used to worry that man to death. We want something on the grill. Can you put something on the grill? Hey, this girl does not have a boyfriend. We need a TV mounted.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like,
That's but you know,
I don't
I'm gonna say
understand how we
go on.
could just, like, do away
Yeah.
with your friend. Like, you're supposed to get a boyfriend and throw him in the boyfriend pot.
Mhm.
We use them when they're useful.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, why does that mean that you don't hang out with your friends anymore?
I think a lot of women that goes back to the competition aspect. that a lot of women go from those girlfriends, be seeing those girlfriends as friends, to then seeing them as competition, whether they want to admit it or not. I do think that a lot of women finally get a decent guy and want to protect what they got to the point that anybody is an enemy. Anybody is a threat. Even their girlfriends who don't want that man ugly to me. I don't want him. She don't see that. She sees threat. And when you were talking about the whole borrowing your boyfriend thing, I that to me is community.
Yes.
If I got a husband who is good with his hands and my girlfriend needs help and don't want to spend an arm and a leg to get that help, go help her, you know? But so many women see that as a potential for him to slip up.
Yeah.
No, why don't I do that because I don't want but that just kinda goes back into not just seeing women as competition, not knowing their own value and their own worth as a woman, period. I think also plays a role in that too, which can't relate because okay.
That boyfriend pot. We're going to Margarita Fest. It would be dumb of us to drive ourselves. My boyfriend said he can drop us off if your boyfriend picks us up.
That's how this that's to me, that is perfectly how it's supposed to be done. Like, that to me shows the prioritization of your friends and your partnership in a way that you're not forsaking one or the other. Because he should be willing to help out in that way and keep y'all safe, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, that's how
We
it's
got
done.
our boyfriend. My boyfriend gonna drop us off and pick us up.
Mhm. That's
So
how it should
what?
be done.
We're gonna be hollering. He'll be all right. Like I don't
Well,
know.
he need his rest. I don't wanna disrupt him. Ooh.
We used to be in the lab while my ex was trying to sleep. I'd be like, y'all be quiet.
Girl, I can only imagine.
Let's run it again. Start the song over. Don't stop too
Hit
loud.
that bone cat one more time, like, yes. I,
Like,
it's so funny because my line is the only line in my chapter to have no kids, and
really?
no one's married. We are the only both Prophyte and Neo, we are the only line that has maintained that status for 7 going on 8 years, and so our friendships, we have not experienced yet the shift that happens when one of us goes from single to partnered or married in that way. We've had boyfriends and such, but it's not we still prioritize us in a way that the boyfriend is just kind of over there. You know, we have yet
Yeah.
to see that shift happen. So I'm curious to know what happens when one of us does get married or one of us does have a baby. It's happening, it's coming. We all hitting that 30 age range. It's approaching. But, it does scare me at times to think about that change because, like I said, you don't know a woman until you know her partner. You don't know her until you know her as a parent because it's 2 different bitches. It's 2 totally different people, and
Mhm.
so, yeah, while ideally I love the concept of women properly prioritizing their partners and their friendships, it so seldomly happens in real life and in real time.
The boyfriend pot is fun.
It's
Yeah,
fun! It is
it's
so
fun
fun,
for
it's
girls.
so trusting, it's so
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love it. I love that concept, absolutely.
I wish more people got that concept. I think the people who get it,
Same.
they don't, like, discuss it, whereas, like,
Yeah.
don't see when we're complaining about somebody because they've completely forsaken their friendships. Let's see, which one do I wanna ask? What is something you want more women to know about friendships? Like, if we could say something to those women who are like, "I don't like drama,
Mhm.
so I'm opting out of this part."
I would
What
say, to deny yourself of women friendships is to deny part of who you are. I think that to reject women is also a form of rejecting yourself. It's a form of you not fully accepting all of you. A lot of these women who don't do women friendships, they're the cool girl. They don't get upset at anything. Nothing bothers them. Well, you're denying part of you. You're not being fully honest in who you are, in your totality as a person. And so I would just say if you think that you are doing something by opting out of women friendships, you are opting out of exploring all of you.
Yeah,
And as long as you do that, you will not I personally feel like to not explore women friendships is to not explore a part of life that gives life color in a way that you don't get outside of that. I think that there is a self-exploration that has to happen within women friendships that are that's really important for your own personal development that we don't talk about enough. But in order to be around women as a woman involves self-awareness and self-checking that being around guys, you don't really get. If dudes, you say 1 plus 1 equals 2 and they're mesmerized. So you're not,
Yeah.
there's a different level of emotional intelligence and requirement that we get amongst each other that you don't get outside of that. And so yeah, if you think you're doing yourself a favor by opting out of the drama, or if you look at women's competition, you're only hurting yourself in the end more times than not. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And I guess, not to answer my own question with a question, but who are you talking to about the one of the boys that you had the crush on? Who are you
Mhm.
talking to?
Who's
Like,
your soundboard? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta like one of them, girl.
Mhm.
Like, I've been in a I've been in a group like that before. You have to like one of them, and I think that that's the most, like, I can't imagine that existence. Just really, like, if nothing else, if you don't see the inherent value in women friendships, that part might be helpful, that, like, there would be someone who you could talk to about that particular situation, who could be there and, like, support you if it goes well, if it goes bad, and that doesn't have to be in solidarity with that guy if it goes bad. Like, you should have someone in your corner, and I love my homeboys to death, but I don't trust them to be in my corner as much as my homegirls. Like, I don't even have to think twice about that. So again, like, I pity you.
Yeah. There's also a softness in women friendships that there aren't there isn't really with guy friends. Like, your girlfriend's holding you accountable. Yes, it may sting, but they're gonna hold you accountable and then you'll eat ice cream afterwards and binge watch TV together.
Yeah.
Your guy friend will call you on the phone, cuss you smooth out, call you a dummy bitch, and then hang up, and that's it. There is no recovery, there is no bounce back, there is no "Are you okay?" Like, I find that in women friendship, there's a softness, even in the harshness, that with men, it's just harsh. So it's like, baby, you not fooling nobody trying to brag and flex about only having guy friends. I know you're suffering.
Yeah.
Between not having a soundboard, not having girlfriends to be able to confide things in about guys, and the way that they check us when we're in the wrong, and rightfully so, they ain't wrong, but the delivery and the lack of softness in the delivery, like, baby, all of that, girl, you're not fooling nobody, like, please.
And are your homeboys gonna show up when you had a baby? Do you want your
Yeah,
homeboys in the room when you're giving birth? Are they going to
yeah,
watch your baby? Are they going to
absolutely.
plan and facilitate your baby shower?
Mhm,
I have my doubts that your homeboys are gonna do that.
yep,
Well, they might do it, and you gonna be sad when you get there.
mhm,
You know, like, there's just something inherently valuable about our friendships that, like, just can't imagine not opting in. I really,
yeah,
and it's sad because I know so many people opt out.
and they're missing out.
My life would be so different.
Mhm.
So, beyond, like, all of the memes and including the recaps that I've posted of cheers to the hoes with the shots, right? What does Galentine's Day mean to you?
So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the episode, that my Galentines that I had with my line sister changed a lot about how I viewed Valentine's. Up until that point, I looked at Valentine's Day as a day strictly for romantic love only. If you don't have nobody, you sit out, because how desperate and pathetic is it for you to celebrate by yourself or with girlfriends? Like, girl, if it ain't romantic, what's the point? I had that
Mm.
belief. I did. And the Galentines, it opened my mind completely. I think at that point I was what, a year and a half, 2 years into being in a sorority. So I was still pretty new to it and everything, still learning about sisterhood. Like I said, she and I did a weekend in Houston. We had a cute little Valentine's breakfast. We had this really, really nice and fancy Valentine's dinner date. It was so cute. We had a cute little spa day. It was cute. And it opened my mind up to the fact that Valentine's Day is about celebrating love, period. There is no, just because society markets it in one way mainly, doesn't mean that we're limited to that only, and nor neither is it a bad thing to celebrate other ways outside of romantic love. And so whenever I hear Galentine's, I hear the opportunity to experience the vastness of love. I think that we tend to limit love to familial and romantic, and we really miss out on platonic love and really reveling in that. And something about that Galentine's, my sister, she really, we both were really just kind of pouring love into each other that entire day. But that night, we both got really dolled up for our dinner, and afterwards we took hella pictures of each other. And that was my first time, like, really feeling beautiful and
Mm.
feeling, like, really empowered by my beauty in a way that I had not experienced before, and it wasn't at the hands of a date with a man or romantically, it was with my girl. And so it exposed me to the reality that romance is not the only space to find validation, to find being seen, to find feeling loved by somebody else in, and you are limiting yourself by looking for that only in romantic love only. So for me, Galentine's, yeah, it's the chance for you to experience the vastness of love that extends so far beyond what just one person can do for you. So yeah, that's what I hear when I hear Galentine's. I hear the opportunity for women to celebrate each other and to celebrate our love for each other, which so often is not celebrated in media. We're not, everything is baddies, everything is fighting, the girls are fighting, everything just seems so conflict at each other's throats that to me, Galentine's is the one thing that I'm glad is getting traction, that there isn't drama, there isn't beef. It is pure celebration and love for each other. So I love it. I think it's a great thing. Absolutely.
I think now I associate it more closely with, uh, my Galentine's Day parties, and I just love seeing, like, my friends who don't know each other, like, sit on the couch together and be like, "Well, you're here and I'm here, and I seen you at a birthday party,
Mhm.
so hi." And then they're discussing, like, "What do you mean that your time of birth is not on your birth certificate?" And they're like, "Certain years in Virginia, they didn't do it." And they're like, "Well, how are we gonna find out your moon sign? We need to get the."
That connection be connecting. Yes.
It's so perfect in being together and, like, there's no pressure, like, my theme was Galentine's Day pajamas, and they're like, "Well, can
Mhm.
I wear a muumuu?" I'm like, "Are those your fucking pajamas? Yeah, come on." Yeah, like, of course. And just, like, being there for each other and, like, celebrating each other, I think that it is its own because on the regular, being a homegirl doesn't get the credit that it deserves,
Mm-mm.
right? So, being able to celebrate that and celebrate it with people who you may have a man, you may not.
Mhm.
You may have a girlfriend and she may be here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But, like, this is for the girls. And then, the next day, seeing how people always respond, like, they put that, "We had a ball in there last night. I ain't even
Yes.
go out for work on the,"
Yes.
and seeing how much, like, they truly enjoyed that is, like, the best part. So, that's kinda meta, but, like, being able to show my love for my girls, but also have them think about how much they love their girls
Mhm.
is, like, the best part. I absolutely love it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why people weren't doing this more often, and I know
I'm
that they
so
probably.
glad that it's getting more traction because
Yeah.
there really isn't a holiday to celebrate women friendships for real. I don't think,
No.
is there? Yeah, no. So this feels like, especially in the more recent years, is gaining more traction and is gaining more seriousness, that I really hope it continues because we does as much as we put up with and as much as we endure in these friendships, both good and bad,
Yeah.
we deserve to have a celebration and we deserve to be able to come together and reminisce and even just really take time to take a moment and value, like, wow, we have been in this thing for X amount of years. We've been through so many things together and we're still here and there's still so much more love to give. Like, that's beautiful. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you can hate on Galentine's. It's just such a positive, beautiful holiday to celebrate. I love it. I think it's an amazing thing for us to be doing as women, for
That's
sure.
what I'm saying. I love friendships. I think the niggas should have palentines. You
Palentine's should
love
be
our
a
friends.
thing. Come on, y'all go to a cute little bowling alley, rent a couple of alleys together, and y'all just have
Yeah.
like, there is, I think that friendships should be just as celebrated as much as romantic relationships. It shouldn't be reserved
Mhm.
just for a date and that's it. Go date your homeboys in the most platonic way possible. Like, that's okay. No one's judging. Well, I'm not judging. And if people judge, who gives a fuck? But like,
I think y'all should play more leapfrog. It's a shame you can't play leapfrog with your niggas.
hello? Have fun. However that looks, I think that Galentines, Palentines is the chance for friendships to be looked at as taken more seriously and better prioritized, regardless of gender. That's just a chance for y'all to recognize these are also relationships in our lives that shouldn't be looked at as a thing to do or a pastime. They are actual relationships, and we need to make sure we're nurturing them and make sure we're continuing to help grow and foster too. So yeah.
And what are you most grateful for in your friendships right now?
Um, support. I am grateful for support. I know that if I hit up any of my girls with good news, bad news, okay news, see how they're doing, I'm heard, I'm seen, I'm valued regardless. And that to me is just invaluable. Being able to know that I can call someone up right now and they'll pick up attentively with
Mm,
whatever I have to share. That to me is a feeling that you really can't that yeah, the support is just yeah, it's indescribable, and to have women who get my humor. Humor to me is really important. I'm a funny bitch, and I need
yeah,
for my girls to be funny with me too in the same way that I'm funny. And so to have a community of women who funny right along with me, that is so intimate to me, and it really does also make me feel seen to know that my jokes land with you in a way that is so much more intimate and heartfelt than it is with anybody else. Those 2 things, support and the funny,
yeah.
value that so much. Yeah, that's my answer.
I think I'll do understanding. Being understood and being able to
Mm,
understand others is
yeah.
like something that I could not do without. I think being misunderstood is one of my least favorite feelings in the world.
Mhm.
Having a group of people who understand me, whether that be my sense of humor or anything else, is super important to me.
I like
And
that.
last one, if you could say one thing to the women who have held you up, what would it be?
I mean, thank you is obvious. I wanna say more than just thank you. If I could say something to the women who held me up, I would say that, believe it or not, it wasn't the obvious forms of holding me up. It was the laughter. It was seeing joy on your faces. It was seeing good things happening in your life that held me up. Seeing you at your best, seeing you evolve as women, seeing you grow and learn lessons and take heed. That is what's helped me up. Being able to know that if you could do it, I can too. Being able to see you do things scared inspired me to do things scared. And it's like we think that being held up is in those crucial moments when we're down and out and we're crying and we're stressed. Sure, but it's also when you are depressed and no one knows and you are around your girls and they're laughing and I mean head, cack, back, gut, like throat in the back of the throat laughter. That held me up sometimes so much more than the obvious moments. Being able to see joy on my girls' faces, being able to see that despite life lifing, despite things not going how I want it to go, there's still joy around me that I can take solace in. That has helped me up. So I would thank them not just for being there for me in those obvious times, but for their joy, for their happiness, for their trials and tribulations, for being an example and inspiration for me that if they're able to do it, I'm able to do it too. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
I think I would say thank you for acknowledging that I needed to be held up
Mm,
because I'm not necessarily the most announcing person.
that's
And I
really
think
good.
that now it's coming to me the one thing that like a woman has done for me that I'll never forget. It was actually my mom. And I had dealt with this boy and I was done with him. And she bought me a series of things, but one of them was like the cookie tin,
Mhm.
and inside of it was a sewing kit.
Classic.
And it was like, "Here you have this now, like, this is a part of womanhood. It's tough, it
Mhm.
sucks, but it's you earning your stripes, And so, like, to represent that, now you have the sewing kit that is inside of the cookie tin, and also a wine glass that said, "My horoscope said this would happen." But most and, like, not only knowing that I needed to be held up, but, like, coming up with ways to hold me up, all of the women around
Mhm.
me, that I could not have expressed that I needed
Yeah.
at that time, I think would be the thing that I would say.
That is so creative. I love that I've never thought to look at the sewing kit in the cookie container as womanhood, but that makes total sense 'cause my grandmother had the same thing, like, so many
Yeah.
of our women in our family had that exact cookie jar the blue one with the
Mhm.
little sugar cookies. Yep. That
Yeah.
is a staple, and I love that she attached that to earning your stripes. That's beautiful. I love that. Very
Everything
beautiful.
happens, believe us, and then
Mhm.
it's like having women around you to be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we get it. We get it.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it happens, and, like, you're not the only person that this has happened to."
Mhm.
So, yeah. I love Galentine's Day. I love my gals, like I said, on Instagram. Valentine's Day, you're only supposed to have 1 Valentine. You can have as many gals as you want,
Yes,
as
there's
many
no
as you
rules.
want, and that's the joy of it all. You're one of my Galentines, and thank you for joining
Oh, you
me.
want absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Tell everybody where to find you, what you do. I feel like I should have had you do more intro in the beginning. We didn't
That
talk.
is okay. I wanted to talk about this, so I was okay with that. But yes, I am Cindy Noir. I am a podcaster and public speaker, personal development speaker. So if you're looking for anyone to talk to some girls about self-love, about self-growth, self-evolution, I'm your girl. You can find me on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads at the Cindy Noir, CindyNoir. But yes, thank you again for having me. This, I think, is a topic that is really important. I think the girls need to know that it's okay to find community in the girls. Like it is,
Yeah.
we're here for a reason. So yes, thank you for inviting me to talk about it because it's a great topic.
Thank you for coming, and a happy Galentine's Day to both of
Happy
you
Valentine's Day to you and to everyone listening.
and to everyone listening. This has been
Absolutely.
another, I guess this is still a video essay, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, this
Yes.
has been another video essay with
For
Lil
sure.
Lo. Over and out.